Hey everybody, it's Will, and welcome to, this is I think our third Vinyl Appreciation Society supplemental video. This one is for Mogwai. It is now Tuesday night. We put the Mogwai video up like around midday on Monday, and we've been getting a lot of good feedback, and most people are just asking to know more about Mogwai and more about the film that the score that we did on the episode was for. So the score, this is the record right here. As you can see, I got a bunch of Mogwai shit next to me. So the record that we talked about in the episode is right here. It's called Atomic. It's a score for a film called Atomic, Living in Dread and Promise. And people want to know more about the film and about the band, because we only had like 3 minutes in the video, and we didn't get to talk too much about both of those things in great detail. We also got requests to hear more Mogwai. We put a little bit of music from the score at the end of the video. So we're thinking about doing like playlists. So for each artist that we feature, we would put together a playlist of some of our favorite songs, and maybe we could do like a short version for someone who just wants to hear it quickly, and then like a longer version for people who want to like immerse themselves in it, maybe like listen to it over the course of a day at work or something. So when we might do that on YouTube, we might do it on Spotify. We're still trying to kind of like, we're feeling that out. So Mogwai formed in Glasgow, Scotland in 1996. This is all information too that you can find on Wikipedia. I just kind of jotted it down in case you don't want to have to go to Wikipedia. And actually, scratch what I just said, because they formed in 1995. And they put out their first single in 1996. Their first full-length came out in 97, which I have right here, Young Team. And this is a lot of people's favorite Mogwai record. And there are a lot of people in the world who love this record and don't really listen to much other Mogwai, which is very silly to me. This album doesn't sound a ton like other Mogwai. A lot of people would tell you to go to this first if you've never heard them and you want to check them out. I would argue against that because it really doesn't sound a ton like they're... I mean, it's obviously the same band. It has the same dynamics, the same basic kind of principles of the sound, but it's not as fully developed and it's not as fully mature as a lot of their other stuff. And I would say it's not the best place to start. It's a really good record to discover after you get into the band. And I think this record actually ruined Mogwai for a lot of people because they heard this first, and then they went to the other stuff, and they're like, hey, that doesn't sound like that first record, and I don't really want to listen to it. So that's Young Team. This is a special release for the I think like the 10th anniversary of this album. There's the this is the actual cover, so you may be more familiar with this. So this has like a bonus disc of I think like live stuff and B-sides and what have you. I used to own a lot more Mogwai stuff than this, I should say too. They've released a crap load of material. I actually wrote it all down because I wanted to read it to you because it's kind of astounding. So since 1996, when they released their first single, they've released 9 studio albums, 2 live albums, 4 compilations, 13 EPs, 13 singles, 2 remix albums, and 5 scores for film and television. Some of those things are the same. Like there's an EP that they put out that was then released as EP plus 6, which had extra songs on it. So that this is from Wikipedia, like I said. So that was considered both an EP and a compilation because it has extra material on it. So that's not like if you added that up, that wouldn't be their exact number of releases. But they released an astounding amount of material. A lot of my records got stolen at some point many years ago, and I only got like a handful of them back. So I lost a lot of Mogwai stuff that I owned. I do somewhere have Mr. Beast, which is an album theirs that came out in 2005, 2006. And I also have My Father, My King, which are not here. My Father, My King is definitely something you should go listen to if you don't know Mogwai that well. It's a 20-minute song that takes up a whole EP, and it's insane. So we have some other stuff here. This is the CD for Atomic. I don't know if people are into CDs. You've seen the record. It's basically the same thing. That's a European edition, so I think this is on Rock Action, which is Mogwai's own record label, which they put out in Europe. In the States, they're on Temporary Residence Limited. This is the Hawk Is Howling. This came out in, I think, 2008. This is a much maligned album that I really love. There was one review that really hated this album. I think it was in Pitchfork, and they made fun of the band for putting an eagle on the cover of an album called The Hawk Is Howling, which is obviously a piss take. Like, the band has a very silly sense of humor and a very dark sense of humor, and it's manifest in like everything that they do. And they bought, see, this is like these ridiculous paintings. They bought these off of eBay and then put them on these on the album. So they're not. It's not like real good professional art. Like, it's obviously a joke. This is Rave Tapes. It's another one of their records. So now we're getting to, if you don't know Mogwai and you want to check them out, I would recommend this. This to me is the ultimate Mogwai record. It came out 2011. It's called Hardcore Will Never Die, But You Will. And it really brings together like the best of their many disparate sounds in one place. It's got really beautiful songs with like slide guitar that's very kind of aching and emotional. It's got heavy stuff. It's got stuff you can dance to. It's a very diverse record, but it works really well as a whole. And this is a special version of it that's kind of bound in a book that came with a bonus song that's 23 minutes long that they composed for a short film, I think, or an art installation or something along those lines. That's right here. And I have a special love for this album for many reasons, one of which is that I lived in Harlem for a while, and you can see the building that I lived in some of the photos. This is really beautiful photography of like Harlem and Washington Heights. It's taken from the George Washington Bridge and then like the New Jersey side of the river. And this is Come On Die Young, which is their second album. I actually prefer this to Young Team, which people might tell you is insane because people, like I said, really love Young Team, but I love this album a lot. I actually bought this in Scotland. And then this is Special Moves, and maybe we'll do like an extra video just on this because this is a live album and I was at the show where they recorded this. And then this is a 7-inch for Tell Everybody That I Love Them, which is on Rave Tapes. This is a 7-inch for Party in the Dark, which is on this album, Every Country's Son, this came out in 2017, so this is their most recent record, as we're filming this in 2018. There's a song on here called Eternal Panther that's really good. It's a B-side. You should check that track out. And this, so you've seen me wear Ash shirts probably in these videos before. In the Smashing Pumpkins one, I definitely wore an Ash shirt. This is a Mogwai remix of an Ash song called Dare to Dream that I got on 7-inch because Ash was having like a big sale on 7 inches on their web store. This is Atomic, which you saw. I'm going to talk about this presently. And Every Country's Son. This is just standard black vinyl release. This was also released in a box set that had like a bunch of B-sides and stuff on clear vinyl. I didn't get that version of it. This is a very good album. You should check. This is actually kind of similar to this in that it brings together a lot of their disparate sounds in one place. So, the one other thing I wanted to say before I get to this is there's a song called Glasgow Megasnake that you should go and listen to if you don't know Mogwai. It'll blow your mind. So, Atomic was released in tandem with the Mark Cousins film Living in Dread and Promise, a documentary by the BBC. And I said that the film was made for the 70th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima, but I didn't really explain what the film is. It's an exploration of living in the atomic age, basically. So it looks at nuclear weaponry, nuclear power, nuclear medicine, X-rays, like both the positive and negative things that have come out of having nuclear technology, and it does it all through archival footage. And it's a very lyrical, poetic, like free association almost film. And it begins with the dawn of life. It's hard to explain how this works. You just have to see the film. And it moves all the way through the development of nuclear power and or technology, weaponry, and what that did to humanity and what it means to live in the nuclear age. It's a very powerful film. And so I liked the music on this record before I saw the film. I love it now. It really works so well with the images in the film. I said in our other video that this is a very dark score. More specifically, it's very portentous. It has some very beautiful songs on it. The first song is very beautiful and uplifting because that goes along with the beautiful and uplifting part of the film. But a lot of the music on here is very foreboding because of the theme of the film. And I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, so I have my little notes, and I'm just going to check this real quick. I also said, this is one other thing I wanted to mention briefly. I also said that the music on here is very synth-heavy, and while it is true, and Mogwai does have a guy named Barry Burns who plays synthesizers and guitars, and that he mostly plays synth and keyboards and organ and computer-based stuff on this record, there is guitar and bass on here, but the guitar especially is filtered through so many effects. Mogwai is big into effects pedals. There's so much effects pedals going on there that the guitar is almost like this ambient layer beneath the main motifs of the songs, which I think are carried by the synthesizers, the organs, the keyboards, etc. So definitely check this out. We will include a link in the description of the video, which is right below the video, as to where you can listen to this record, buy this record, listen to that, buy that, check out some other Mogwai. I want to thank everyone for listening and also for being so vocal with the feedback. Like, people have been really eager to get in touch with us after watching the episodes via email, via text for people who know us personally, people commenting on Instagram, sending us Instagram messages. So it's been really exciting for us, and we didn't expect this much kind of response right away. So thank you very much for everyone for getting into it. Thank you for watching the videos. Hopefully that answers some of the questions that you had about Mogwai. I've rambled on for way too long. We'll put this up soon. Like I said, it's Tuesday night now. We'll probably put this up on Wednesday. And that is our supplemental video for Mogwai's Atomic.